Okay, so I made a cash flow plan that you can just, I gave this to you in the email, and then I also put this on the spring schedule, but you can just put this on Google Classroom and then they'll all have it. So I think each one of them, especially if you do make one for each student and they don't have to make a copy of it, I think their conditional formatting should be all done, and I think their percentage of take home pay should be all done. So the only two things that they will need to do is write in how much they're budgeting, and they'll do that before the month starts. Then they're actually spent is the things that they drew out of the hat, and then this should all autofill for them. So then what I want them to do when they're done with the month and they've gotten all of their expenses, which we probably do like maybe two or three, maybe some days four um, things that they draw out of the cups, maybe not even four, like two or three each day. And because by the time that they pick it, they write the check, they work on this cash flow plan, it kind of takes the time, but you do whatever you think or whatever makes sense for you guys. So, like the month's done, they've chosen all of their things, they've written all of their checks, and all of their actually spent is done. So they might decide, you know what, this month I didn't have any real estate taxes, so I put my zero in. And this month I didn't go out to eat, so that was zero, whatever. So they have all of these filled out. Then they need to go and budget for May. So what they're going to do now, instead of just guessing, they're going to kind of look at what they actually spent in April and decide how much they should budget in May. So if they have like a huge emergency that they got in April, they probably don't need to budget for that in May, okay, because they should have an emergency fund set up. However, their electricity, their water, their gas, they pretty much know, that's about how much they're going to be in May as well. So they'll budget for that better than they did in April. Okay, so then they'll have a budgeted amount for May. And then what I'm going to have them start doing is for this May month, I want them to kind of do some research on what it does actually cost. Not out of the cups, but what does it actually cost? So if they say they live in Des Moines, um, go see what a house, that would hold three or four people or however many they have in their family is going to cost a month. Figure out what their electricity and their water is going to be every month. Figure out if they're going to go to a 4-year school, what their school loan might be. So they kind of do some research and try and get this actually spent column figured out. Then, when they're done with that, they do one more month of June where they budget for the month. After looking at May's actually spent, then they come into June and put that budgeted amount in. And on this June one, they don't need to do any actually spent or anything like that. So, April, they guess the budget, then the actually spent is from the cups. In May, the budget is from looking at the actually spent the month before. The actually spent here is the research they do online according to what their person is. And then in June, they budget from May's actually spent and they don't do anything in the actually spent. Um, just some other things I thought of as we're going here. Um, we talk about when we're writing checks, that they're supposed to be in cursive, that, just check writing stuff. Like when you write out the amount, you don't start halfway through the line because someone could write in, like if it's $100, you start writing 100 way over on the left side because you don't want someone to write 1,100, before it. We talk about your signature and how it's got to be the same on every check. We talk about when you are balancing your checkbook, that it needs to be nice and neat and the math all has to be correct, and what to do on a voided check. So sometimes I make them like just, before you start, I usually make them write me a check just for $10 for a t-shirt or something, and then so they can learn how to add money in and take money out of their checkbook account or checkbook register, and then maybe I'll have them void that check later. um, and you can kind of talk about what it's like to void a check, that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think what else you need to know about this if you're going to do this. I think that's about it. Yeah, I think any questions you have, let me know. But um, it's just supposed to be kind of fun. I make it a big deal, like if they have to have like 4 cell phones, and make it kind of a joke, like, oh man, this person, you're gonna, kind of have a lot of expenses or whatever. The people that get single with no kids, I go, oh, you're going to have lots of money, that kind of stuff. Um, One kind of activity that I do sometimes about halfway through is I make them go down and figure out in their checkbook register how much they have left. And, if they have more than 5,000, they haven't spent all of their money that month. If they have less than 5,000, they've already spent more than what they made. And so I generally make them line up from like the person that has the highest balance left to the person that has the lowest. And we talk about, why that is. Is it because you're married and you had two paychecks, so you had a lot of money? Or is it because you have tons of kids and they're expensive? Or did you have a big emergency? Or are you spending too much eating out? Or are you, all kinds of things. So I just try and have a conversation each day about what it's really like to have a budget and how it's hard to live on a budget, but it does help you in the long run because you're not overspending. So, listen to these videos, I guess, see if you think you get it. I know this is like really in depth and it's hard to explain when we're not sitting by each other, but um, email me or text me or whatever. Or if you think it's too much, I really honestly don't care either if you just do the assignments out of the book. So, totally up to you how you want to do it. Thanks again.